Today, we're talking with Robert Thompson out of the Woodlands, Texas, Thompson Law Firm, and just going to have a talk about starting a new practice area, expanding your firm into a new practice area. And Robert is considering personal injury. And so we're going to get into that. But first, Robert, let's hear from you. Give me a little background. How did you end up practicing law? What's going on there?
Sure. Funny story. My background or my undergraduate degree was in music, and I always knew that I was going to go to grad school and do something with business. But I really loved music, and that paid for undergrad. Um, so, and I was thinking it was going to be either business, either get an MBA or get a JD. And I started an MBA at the University of New Orleans in August of 2005, and then Hurricane Katrina came along and blew up the city and canceled classes for the foreseeable future and all that stuff. And that's sort of how we ended up in the Houston area. We're bona fide refugees, but so I took that as a sign that I had started the wrong degree. I needed to go to law school instead. And so the following year, I enrolled at South Texas College of Law there in downtown Houston. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay, I didn't know that. Are you originally from Louisiana?
Yeah, grew up in Monroe, Louisiana, which is the
Wow.
northern part of the state. People down south call it South Arkansas, but it is actually Louisiana. So
Okay, let me raise my camera before I go any further. Sorry, guys. All right, I just don't like looking down at it. So, started with the MBA, ended up in law school
mhm.
as Hurricane Katrina helped you make that decision.
Yeah.
Interesting. I always think it's funny the way people find their way into law school.
Mhm.
Almost nobody goes to law school because they dreamed they wanted to be an attorney since they were a kid. They just,
Yeah.
I know
And
what else to do with
I did
myself.
think about it when I was a kid, but it wasn't probably for the reasons that you would think. Somebody told me that attorneys make $400,000 a year, and I was like, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But then I fell in love with music, and
Okay. You played trumpet, right?
yeah, trumpet and bass
Yeah.
guitar, and
We got,
I've been known to sing a little bit on occasion.
all right, two trumpet players on the line. And you also have a military background. Tell us about what's going on there.
Yep. So I am currently serving as a JAG officer in the Texas Army National Guard, and I have been in that role since 2013. Before that, I was 9 years enlisted in the Louisiana Army National Guard. So about 18 and a half years total of Guard military service, three deployments, most recently to Kuwait in 2021, which some people will tell you that's not a real deployment. And, there's no combat happening there. So that's, partially true, but it's still a period of, being away from the family. And that's really the hardest part for a guy like me is being away from the wife and kids.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of work, legal work, were you doing as a JAG officer?
So I've done quite a broad variety of work as a JAG officer. Everything from what you think about JAGs do, from approving airstrikes to defending soldiers accused of misconduct or wrongdoing, to administrative reviews of policies that the commander wants to institute, and whatever else comes up. And in Kuwait, I was chief of legal assistance, so we did a lot of wills and powers of attorney and advising soldiers on legal issues with landlords and things like that back home.
Okay, okay. It's good to get your bio out there, but also when I sit down to think about attorneys starting a new firm or expanding into a new practice area, and really any business owner that comes to me with this question, what I'm really asking is tell me about your already existing network. You and I met at Legacy Barbell, doing some powerlifting. So I know you got a network of weightlifters,
Mm-hmm.
And you're over there at the new gym in Magnolia too. So that's two gyms where you're known as an attorney. You've got this military network that you can tap into. You've probably played in a band or orchestra through your stuff. So think about that network. You've got the undergrad Louisiana network. You've also got attorneys that you went to law school with, that if you're in Texas, we have all the Texas lawyer Facebook groups. So what we're doing right now, yes, we're introing you in this video, but we're also taking stock of your current network, because that's going to become important anytime you launch a new venture or a new practice area. That's going to be one of the first things we tap into. And that's just traditional underground marketing, tap into your own network. Okay, so that being said, there's that book, Guerrilla Marketing. That's kind of what we're doing. First, let's take inventory of where we are. Now, I know you've been practicing some business law, some real estate law, some insurance law, estate planning.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you make the decision to let me venture out into personal injury?
So there are a couple of reasons for that. And when I'm doing transactional work and business transactions and estate planning and things like that, it's rewarding, it's fun, it's challenging, but I'm not really helping people who are in dire straits. And that's sort of, when you go to law school, you want to use your legal prowess for good for the community and do good things for people who need help right now. And I do have some experience. During law school, I worked as a claims adjuster for a little while, so I've kind of got an introduction to that world. But I see it as a way to help people who need help, legal help, that I can offer right now. And there's also business reasons that I've thought about doing this. And one of them is that with the transactional practice, there's just not a lot of leverage in the model, so it's hard to grow and expand the practice. And if I can grow and expand the practice, then I can help more people, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, good point. First day of law school, they sat us all down over at University of Houston, and they said, you can do anything with your law degree. You can save the whales with your law degree. You can kill the whales with your law degree. But ultimately, lawyers help people.
Yeah.
And you're right. The fastest way to help people is to expand your business and increase your sphere of influence there. Certainly, car accident or personal injury is a really good way to do that. Okay, so with that in mind, what I wanted to do for this conversation was just talk about some of the ideas I would use when attorneys come to me to grow a new practice. Okay. First things first. The first thing I would do is exactly what we did. Write down every possible connection from your military days, your undergrad days, all your friends you went to law school with, and all the current attorneys right? And I would just craft an email that I'm going to send to all of them. And it might be like, hey, Susan, hope you're doing well. No, I haven't reached out to you in a while. Just wanted to let you know I'm opening a new practice over at Thompson Law Firm, where I help people who have been injured in an accident. No pressure, but if possible, if you know anyone that might need this kind of help, I would appreciate a referral. That's it. It's kind of scammy. Think of a way to say it better. Keep it to 5 sentences max. Like, don't send them a novel. Just keep it low key. You never know what'll come back, but you just need to start waving the flag out there, letting your personal network know what your new venture is. That was how I got my first clients in this business. I didn't run an ad. I didn't write a blog. I just started messaging everyone I went to law school on Facebook with. I'm starting a lawyer marketing firm. You know anyone that needs help, please let me know. That's it. And I got That's how I picked up my first client.
Nice.
Okay. Another thing I would do is look for either offline traditional networking groups to join, or what I prefer you do is go join Facebook groups. For example, get on Facebook, do a search for Texas veterans and see what groups come up, and then join those groups. You might talk to someone like me who is a veteran and be like, Dustin, I know you own a military veteran career finding group. Would you mind if I made a post in your Facebook group? And, I might be glad to be like, hey guys, this is my buddy Rob, good guy. Anybody of you get injured, he's one of the personal injury lawyers that I work with over here. And I don't know what kind, like maybe you get someone that slipped, tripped, and fell in Pennsylvania, even though you were thinking of doing workman's comp in Texas. But maybe you can refer that case to someone, and now someone else owes you a favor.
Yeah.
You just need to start getting your name out there. So I would join military Facebook groups, and I would, of course, try to post in those if possible. Now, a lot of times you might join like Texas National Guard veterans. Maybe you don't know the owner. So you could click on admin, find out who owns it, friend them. Once they accept, private message them and just ask, hey, is it possible I could just make a small post in the group? It might look like these three sentences. All they can do is say no. But I know from experience, veterans like to do business with veterans.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
Okay. So we talked about sending that email to everyone you went to law school with too. Like just, I don't know if you want to say everyone, but everyone who you're somewhat on a speaking term with, you might email them. Hey man, just want to let you know, I'm starting a new practice area, personal injury. If you know anyone who wants to refer work they don't want to do, would you mind mentioning my name to them? Something like that. You should never know what'll come back from those sort of things. And to me, that was always higher leverage than running to downtown Houston at 5 p.m. to go to a happy hour networking group, just sending off 10 emails a day or something. Of course, all of that may come to nothing. It just may be people now realize you're doing this, which is fine.
Okay.
Okay, that's kind of the traditional marketing stuff. What I might do on the internet, I'm going to share this other screen and we're going to take a look at some of your online properties. Okay, so let me just share screen 2 here. All right, and this is you, Thompson Fern. Let me move this real quick. Okay, maybe I'll put this right here. Okay, so this is you, thompsonfirm.com. And the only reason I came here because I wanted to make sure you had a page here, and you do. Okay, great, awesome. So now we're going to go to the Facebook ad library. Before we do that, I'm just going to show people you already have an existing business page on Facebook. Great. Facebook.com/Thompson Law Firm. Everything we need. Now, if you go to Google and you just Google Facebook ad library, or you can go to facebook.com/ads/library, what you can do is see what other injury attorneys are running ads who you might copy. Okay. And before we do that, I'm just going to show you who I would copy. Okay. Then I'll show.
All right.
This is my buddy Rashid Taylor, and he has a very simple 2-step ad campaign. Okay. He's got this one. It's just a video. It says sound on. Told my social media guy, we need videos. Spent 3 days shooting Q&A videos. This is what he came up with. Should I fire him? ? And I'm going to hit play.
Sound's not coming through over here.
Okay, so first let's talk about what this is not. Then I'm going to explain the theory behind this whole thing. This is not attorney Rashid Taylor coming on saying, if you've been injured in an accident, work with Texas Super Lawyer. I was voted best lawyer 3 years running. It's not that. He's not even asking for a sale. All this is call RashidTheLawyer.com. We're just trying to popularize that brand name throughout Houston with this first ad, okay?
All right.
And so you would make a video the same way. This is just a simple horizontal shot video. And then
I found this on the web.
Siri thinks I'm talking to her. And then my preference is always to run Facebook ads as an Instagram square, like 1,000 by 1,000 or 640 by 640. And I put their landscape video in the middle, and I put the branding on the top and bottom. So this branding is basically RashidTheLawyer.com, which in your case might be attorney Rob Thompson or ThompsonLawFirm.com. And at the bottom, I might say the Woodlands, Texas car accident lawyer, and whatever is said here isn't of extreme importance other than they see this brand name here and they see this brand here at the top of the video. A video like this first video in your case, of course, you're gonna have to get on YouTube. And how do I run a Facebook ad? Now, because I know you, I already know that you know how to run Facebook ads because I've already seen some of your campaigns. But for other lawyers out there, if you don't know, one, you just work with someone, or two, get on YouTube and learn the process. Okay, this first ad in your case, let's say we're trying to dominate the Woodlands. This ad would just be sent to everyone in the Woodlands, Texas. The Woodlands plus 25 miles. Anybody that watches that ad, we are tracking and we're pixeling, and now we're going to throw a second ad that just retargets anyone that watched that first ad, right? And again, what do you have? Blah, blah, blah. I'm an attorney. Branding at the top, RashidTheLawyer.com. Video where you could literally say anything.
Hi, I'm Rashid Taylor with Taylor Law Firm. I'm here today to tell you 3 important things you must know if you're ever involved in an auto crash.
Okay, so this is like 47 seconds of 3 things you need to know if you're involved in an auto crash. I recommend you start out with $5 per day for both of these ads. And in about 2 months, when you have a retargeting audience, ramp them up to $10 per day per ad. So at first, at $5 per day per ad, that's $300 ad spend a month. And then you double it, $600. But the point is, you have one ad that you show to the entire city you're targeting, where you're just trying to get someone to watch that ad. Anyone that does watch it, now you're stalking them all over the internet with this second retargeting ad showing your brand. Okay, so now the reason it's all about brand building, there's a reason why you don't see 1-800-555-7979. Is because the way people find attorneys on the internet, even if they know what your name is or they know your web address, they're just going to go do a Google search for your brand. And that looks like this, what if I put this right here and I search Rashid the Lawyer and I hit enter. Boom. This is how they're going to find him on the internet. They go look for him by name. They can just click right here, Taylor Law Firm, or they can click on his website, his bar profile, whatever. But that's how people find lawyers. They go search for your brand name or they go look for a keyword. We're just going to popularize your brand name. Now, I'm not saying that is the only way to do it. That's just one way I do it. A second way I would do it is I would just go to the ad library and I would start looking for something like, I would select all ads here. And I might look for injury attorney. Let me move this over here. What if I just started typing in injury and maybe this guy pops up. He probably is running ads because he's got 15,000 likes, 5,000 followers. So I'm assuming he's running ads. I might just
He's got billboards too. I think I've seen this guy.
okay, well, I might just
Oh yeah, he's
copy what they're doing, that. But what I don't like about what he's doing is it's not video. I want video.
Yeah.
But he's doing the whole thing, branding. His brand is not Rashid the lawyer, it's getgordon.com.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to make a catchy jingle. Like, man, the other day I saw this attorney, her brand is Superwoman Super Lawyer. And she's got a jingle to it too. So it works on radio, it works on podcasts. Superwoman, super lawyer. So anyone in that city, when they need that kind of attorney, it was personal injury, they just go Google. They just go Google Superwoman, super lawyer. Do you need to come up with a catchy jingle? No, your brand could just be Attorney Rob Thompson or Thompson Law Firm. But the mistake people make when they run Facebook ads as attorney is they're thinking lead generation as opposed to brand building. If you think brand building from the start, it's better. Okay. So in a nutshell, we've talked about 2 of the 3 things I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about 1, your own network. Let me unshare the screen here. Okay. We talked about your own existing network, and you're one of the lucky guys. You got that military, you got law school, you got undergrad, you got some Louisiana people, you got Texas people, you got your gym people. I've hired you as my own attorney because we know each other from the gym and because you're a military veteran. A lot of people from your network are going to hire you or try to help you just because they know you. So that's 1, your own network. 2, we talked about what if I had to run Facebook ads? How would I do it? Last thing I want to talk about comes straight out of this. It's called the Dream 100. It's talked about in Traffic Secrets. My friend over here is reading my Dream 100 book right now, so I can't show you that, but it's also in this Traffic Secrets book, or you could just Google Dream 100. But there is, here we go. Thank you. The Dream 100 book. Okay. And the concept behind the Dream 100 is that you just have to meet the right people, meet people who can help you. And in your case, what I think the fastest people who would be able to help you are personal injury attorneys who have overflow, who could give you some of the cases they don't exactly want to take. And so one way to scale networking is the Dream 100. And the easiest way to do that is a show, just like I'm doing. Like, some people would call this a podcast, some people would call it a video podcast. But ultimately, why does Dustin Sanchez Media LLC have a podcast? Because I needed to have a way to meet attorneys, because my company does marketing for attorneys. So you as an attorney are going to be on my podcast. We're going to talk, and then I'm going to share this video with you. I'm going to be like, hey, Robert, thanks for coming on my podcast. Hey, if you want to share this with your audience so they can see how awesome you are, here's the link to the YouTube video. And so you share it on your LinkedIn, Facebook, and who are you friends with? You're friends with a bunch of attorneys. And so now I've kind of stolen your network from you, or I've leveraged your network.
Yeah.
Same thing. If I were you, what I would do is start a show just like this, a podcast show. It always works better on video. And at first, I might write down 10 personal injury attorneys local who might be able to send business my way, and I would invite them on my show. Then I'm going to share your screen again. I'm going to share screen 2. Okay, maybe your website has a blog section, right? Okay, let's go to DustinSanchezTV.com. Right, and my website has a blog, and everyone that comes on my lawyer marketing show. Let's see if I can find somebody who's been on here recently. There you go. Well, let's do a better example of an attorney. All right, so your website has a blog on it, and you also have a video show where you invite other attorneys, and then you embed that video on your website.
Okay.
And you, of course, maybe backlink to the person who linked to you. Well, at the same time, you could tell them, hey, here's the YouTube video. If you want to embed this on your website, feel free. It's great content for you. Just like this would be great content for you, because you, in the beginning, you told your story of why you wanted to be a personal injury lawyer. You would want your potential clients to know that. Same thing. You're just talking with other personal injury attorneys. Here's a video. You can embed this, and maybe they link to your website too, and you could say, here's the link on my blog if you want to backlink to it, something like that. Okay, so let's imagine you invited 10 attorneys onto your show. Now you have a reason to talk to them. You're not just standing in some dark, danky happy hour in the Galleria area trading business cards. Now they've really had a conversation with you one-on-one. You've got to know them. You even did them a favor. You helped them get publicity by not only sharing the video to your audience, but sending them the link where they could share it to their Facebook, And then a week later or so, hey, Bob, hey, Jennifer, really appreciate you coming on the show. I think it was a big hit. Listen, if you ever have any overflow or cases you don't want, I don't care how ugly it is, if you think of referring out, I'd appreciate it if you referred it to me. Or if you know any attorneys who do that, could you let me know? And if you, at some point, you've had 100 personal injury lawyers in Houston on your show, that's real networking. It takes time, but it could be extreme. In some regards, it's all I do. Like if you went to Google and you did a search for, let's see, if you went to Google and you did a search for, say, law firm marketing, I'm not here. You don't see Dustin Sanchez TV anywhere, right?
Right.
This is the only marketing I do, is I bring lawyers like you on my show, and then they share it to their audience, and any attorney could do the same thing. So that's 3 ways that could kind of fast track. You got the traditional number 1 way of just shaking the tree of your own network, people you already know. And I tell people all the time, I bet your friends and family don't know what kind of law you practice. So I would just tell my own friends and family too. Secondly, if you have some kind of technical knowledge, you would try that Facebook campaign I talked about. Thirdly, if you have no technical knowledge, and more importantly, what probably works even better is this scaled networking that some people call the Dream 100, which are in both of these books. But it's just leveraging a show to meet people. In this book, Traffic Secrets, the author, Russell Brunson, talks about The Apprentice. And I don't know if you know who Arsenio Hall is, but back in the day, Arsenio Hall had that show like 20 years ago. And Arsenio Hall used to invite people on his talk show.
Myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fast forward 20 years, Arsenio Hall has been out of the limelight, doesn't have a show, and he's on The Apprentice. And everybody on The Apprentice had a goal to raise money. And so a lot of these celebrities just called their own network. Well, Arsenio Hall tried to call his network. He couldn't get any callbacks. He made $0 for charity, and they had to let him go. And as he was walking off the set, he said, man, I just couldn't get any callbacks. When I had my show, everyone called me back. And that's the whole moral of the story. If you have this show, even if it's only got 3 subscribers, it's still publicity for other attorneys.
Yeah.
And you can invite them on your show. Now you have a natural reason to quote unquote network, as opposed to drinking a vodka tonic at some happy hour, handing out business cards.
Right. Okay.
So those are just 3 things I might do. What do you think? What do you think would be the easiest for you to implement?
Yeah, probably doing the show. I mean, I've already got, I guess, the technical expertise to do it. I just need to start, inviting people on, and then, the network, the email that's easy. That's low hanging fruit. I can just, email folks and get that. Yeah, there's nothing hard about this. It's just a matter of knowing what to do. And then just doing it.
Okay. One more thing I didn't mention, but you kind of started touching on it. Like, let's imagine some personal injury attorney owns a Facebook group with 10,000 members, or that personal injury attorney has a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers. That would be a great person to have on your show, because the bigger the audience the person you bring on your show has, the more exposure you're going to get for your business. But in the beginning, you start out with people that maybe have no audience, and you just work your way into bigger and bigger audiences.
Okay.
Anywho, I think that's enough. We've talked about 30 minutes now.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Thank you.
Okay, Barbarado. Well, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to package this as a nice video. I'm going to send you the link. Hopefully you'll share it to your audience.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good talking to you. If we have been injured in an accident, how do we get in touch with attorney Rob Thompson? What's the best way to reach you on the internet?
Yeah. So, I mean, you just dial the phone 832-460-3334, or visit me on the web at thompsonfirm.com. That's Thompson without a P, THOMSON firm.com.
All right, perfect. In post-production, I'll put all that info on the screen. Thanks for coming on, Robert. I'm going to end the recording, and I'll be in touch with you shortly, brother.
All right. See you soon.
Peace out.